Hello, I'm PJ Bishop, and welcome to my channel. Uh, I am the GM and manager of the Miami Marlins, and it's opening day of 2024. That's not a typo. I didn't misspeak. It is 2024. As I don't know about you, but I do find it annoying to jump into a game and it's 2 days before opening day and you have no time to do anything. So I decided to come into the game as usual, but not being just accept no job to start with and let the AI play out the first season. And as soon as the World Series ended, I hopped in and took over the Miami Marlins as they fit all the criteria that I was looking for, which was losing record, and they were bad. A scouting director that fits my scouting style, which they did, and enough budget room to be able to assign exactly the way that I like it as far as scouting, draft, player development is concerned, because my goal is to build this organization up through player development. It's a small market, so it's perfect for us. I can build up and get better just by developing our own in-house talent. So draft well, scout well, sign good prospects, and hopefully that will be enough to make us competitive enough to reach the playoffs and actually go deep and make some deep runs and be a World Series threat. So saying that, let's take a look at quickly the front office and what the owner is expecting. Well, first off, we have a very small budget. We're 28th largest, and payroll is very cheap this year at $74.4 million. You can see not very good as far as market size, fan loyalty, fan interest. So we're going to have a tough time when it comes to the money. I'm not going to be able to really give out huge contracts, and my goal is not to give out huge contracts. $10 million is the most I want to give out when it comes to off-season free agents, if I even sign any. Because the first thing I did when I got in here, I fired everybody except for the scouting director. So the staff is fantastic from top to bottom. I think I have the best staff in the entire Major League Baseball. And all these guys I plan to keep for as long as I possibly can, unless they get a job somewhere else, and that's fine. Of course, my scout is fantastic. Player development, got it all maxed out to exactly the way I like it. So hopefully all these guys will come up and be useful for us come and let's take a look at what the owner is expecting of me. So the owner is expecting me to have a don't suck completely. So I don't know what that is. Is it? Hopefully it's better. I mean, they've been really bad for so long that I feel like I can do better than this. I don't think hovering around 500 is impossible. Increase attendance. That will happen with success. Build your farm. It's already at 2. That's because of a free agent or international prospect that I signed. He's really good. So he instantly brings us up all the way up to number 2. It was the 23rd best when I took over. It wasn't bad. Like, it's not the worst. I've definitely had worse farm systems. It's pretty good here. I don't mind it. Improve draft record and improve international amateur. This will happen over time because they never come in talented enough to make an impact right away. It feels like everybody's always 4 or 5 years away. So hopefully I'll have enough time to reach those goals. Increase fan interest. That's very simple. Be better, and they'll be more interested. And then long-term goals, reach the playoffs. So none of these are impossible or something that I don't really agree with. Let's take a look at the salaries. Where was that? Organizations. No, that's front office. So really, like, it's no big contracts, which I like. I like the fact we have no giant contracts that are over $10 million, which would be my maximum that I would ever want to spend. It's $10 million. Anything once it's over $10 million, I'm probably gonna have to trade that player or see how much budget room we actually have. Because again, when you operate in a small market, I'm not trying to spend that much money. I will try to build a good team without breaking the bank. So saying that, this offseason, my goal wasn't to sign any big-time key free agents. In fact, I only signed one player, and then I had a Rule 5 draft pick. That was it. That was really all the additions. I did not go out and make a big splash, as I liked the team that we had, and this past offseason, since it was my first one, was more about reorganizing the entire organization from top to bottom and kind of cutting out the weight that I didn't like. So saying that, let's take a look at our pitching. So our number one pitcher and our ace will be Sandy Alcantara. He's really good. As you can see here, he was an all-star back in 2019 and a Cy Young winner just a couple of years ago at 2022. And he's really good. I wish he had more stuff, because that's the kind of pitchers I like, is the strikeout guys. But aside from that, he's really good. He's not going to give up home runs. He's not going to walk guys. And he still has enough strikeout ability to have a decent number of strikes every game. And he can go deep into games. So he's going to be extremely efficient and get guys out. He's a ground ball guy, so you need a good defense with him. But with his high stamina, he's always a threat to pitch complete games, which is good. It helps out your bullpen when you have a starter like him. He's a bullpen savior. Because he's going to let the entire bullpen refresh and be available for the next time. So I'm really excited to have him. And for $9 million this year, I think we saw that his contract does increase to $17 million. This is where I'm going to have a hard time deciding if we are competitive, as if we're on the brink of a wild card or better. I will keep him. If we are looking at not really making a run of the postseason, I might end up trading him and try to capitalize on his abilities and try to get a good prospect package in. So we'll find out. So with him, it's going to be a matter of how good we are, because he's now at the age where he's hitting his prime, which means he's also hitting his salary prime, and it's tough for us to afford him. Because I'd rather bring in more people. Maybe I won't have him, but I can bring in two more players that are good, whether it's a batter and a pitcher or two pitchers, whatever it is. It'll help me overall as a team and an organization than it would, because I can get prospects who are hopefully highly ranked, high potential, and then save money and be able to bring in more players. So maybe it'll end up being like a 3-for-1 or a 4-for-1, and in the long run, it'll be better for us. So that's that. Number two pitcher is somebody I really like a lot. That's Yuri Perez. He's just 20 years old. Has the chance to become an outstanding ace. He's still developing. Obviously, he's only 20. Will be 21 shortly, but I like this kid a lot. I also have him in my fantasy dynasty league. So I drafted him last year with my first overall pick, and I absolutely love him. I'm hoping he improves this year. I mean, he went straight from Double-A to the Major League Baseball, which is incredible to think that he went from Low-A, Double-A, and then straight to Major League Baseball. That's incredible. Struggled a little. ERA is a little bit high. WHIP could improve. All these things should improve. Hopefully, the home runs will drop a little. We want this to be below 1. Walk rate, we want to see this more in the 2s or lower, which he's still developing, so that will be a little while. And obviously, we want to see his K rate rise, considering that he is a strikeout guy. We want this to be a higher number, because if you're going to be doing all this needs to be much higher to make up for the lack of control. Don't put guys on base, strike him out. But I do like him as the number 2 guy, and the fact that he can still develop, and we have plenty of control over him, as we just have control and control and control. We got a long time. Our number 3 pitcher is going to be Jake Eder. 25-year-old, another good guy, only 25 years old, making plenty. I don't know why they're angry. Why are you angry? Why are these people angry? What are they angry about? But again, he's going to develop into a solid pitcher, still developing. Although it looks like it's just the movement, really. Is that it? That's the thing that's keeping him from being 3 is the movement. But he looks like he's pretty much already there. Last year, he had some taste of a major league top tier level. Only 27 innings. Did struggle. ERA of 6.26. Whip was a little high. Way too many home runs. 2 homers per 9, which is a ton. Walk rate also needs to go down. These guys all have slightly low control, so that might never go too low. It might always hover around the high 2s and low 3s. But his strikeout rate was fantastic, already at double digits, at 12.2 per 9. So that's there. We need to drop this. Drop the home run rate down significantly, and you're going to see the ERA obviously go down. Because I'm sure he had the bases with 1 or 2 runners on each time and was just giving up way too many runs. At number 4 is going to be Edward Cabrera, 25 years old. Another young guy, 25, cheap. This is what we like. We like him cheap. But this guy's going to be tough. He's going to be one of those guys where he's going to frustrate me because he's going to strike guys out, but at the same time, he's going to be giving up way too many home runs, and he's going to be giving up way too many walks. So he's not really. I like him, but I'm not going to go overboard with him, considering this is just low and has no room to improve. This is what we expect him to be. So if he wasn't able to strike out guys, I don't know how much we'd like him. As you see last year, pretty good, decent amount of innings here. So we know that he's 5.4. That's high. I don't really like that. Yeah, look at that whip. 1.6. That's way, way too high. Like 1.5 to me is pretty bad. Once you get to 1.4, 1.3, if you're a rookie and you're doing 1.4, 1.3, I understand. 1.2, we're starting to get better than the average. We're getting around the average guy. 1.1 or less than 1.2. That's when we start becoming to the elite level of pitcher. Like he was doing in the minors. A whip of 1, 1.15, 1.07 the year before, and 1.07 the year before. Not bad. That's what you want. More like this. It's really his walk rate. Because if you look at, he's giving up too many hits. Because the home run rate is pretty much the same. Walk rate was a little more though, but the strikeout rate was a little better. But really, he must be giving up way too many hits. So he's a little hittable right now. So whatever it is that hopefully he fixed it over the offseason, maybe got some better pitching. Because everything's pretty much maxed out. There's not much left for him to do other than, what was the one thing? Oh no, he's maxed out. This is it. This is what he is. He's an average guy. At number 5 is Brett Keller. He's only a fill-in here, really, as he is pretty much nothing that I like. But we've had some injuries that forced me to call up somebody from the minors. So he's just an emergency fill-in. Nothing fantastic. Played for Kansas City last year. We ended up, I guess, the AI ended up signing him to a minor league deal. I guess he got cut or waived from Kansas City. I mean, he didn't do terrible. ERA was 4.39. The whip's a little up there, though, 1.34. Don't really like 1.34. It's not a good whip. Home run rate was kind of high. You always want it less than 1. Good control, though, as you can see. Only 2 walks, roughly. Strikeout rate not very high, but he's not going to be a strikeout. He's not a strikeout guy. But he's not going to walk that many guys. He's just meh. You want to use him as few times as possible. So while my guy is injured, I guess we can take a look at that. Yeah, because we have Jesus out for 3 more days. Trevor Rogers is up for 2 months. I kind of want to trade him, but at this point we'll end up just keeping him since we're here now. And that's that. Let's go to the relieving side of things. So here's the relieving side of things. So our closer is going to be Chandler Joswick, and boy, do I love him. He's already really good, and he still has the potential to become an elite closer. I mean, he's got elite stuff. He's got good movement. He's got above average control. So he's not going to give up homers in that crucial time when you need to secure a victory. So this is really good. I mean, I absolutely love him. Last year, did he have any saves last year? Where is his? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, there he is. No saves. Wasn't used as a closer. Will be a closer this year. I can tell you that much. But look at that. Good whip, 1.07. As I like that. Home runs at 1. Still would like to see that drop a little, considering that he does have good movement. So I'm surprised it is that high. Walks per 9, 3.1. Also, that's a little high considering his control. Strikeout rate, I knew would be high at 13.6. I mean, that's just what he is. He is a strikeout artist. That's elite. That is what you want out of a closer, is elite level strikeout stuff. And our setup man and also our number 2 closer will be Ron Marinaccio. Ron Marinaccio. He was a Rule 5 draft. I saw him available in the Rule 5 draft pick. I thought it was more than good enough. I mean, yeah, his control is low, but I don't mind because I don't expect him to give up too many hits, and I don't expect him to. I mean, if he's not going to strike you out, he might walk you, but there's chances are he's striking out everybody else. I think he's that good, and he's cheap. Rule 5 draft pick. So I got to keep him on my roster the entire season, but that's fine. I don't see him going anywhere when he looks that elite. It's the fastball changeup. That's an elite combination there. Plus a really good slider. I mean, he's still got a good slider as well. I do like him. He's been a career minor. He did play some major league last year for the New York Yankees. I guess they didn't like him that much. I guess they have either enough pitching or they don't like him. I don't know what the deal is, but they left him for us. I'd like to see. I mean, that's not going to go much lower. I don't know. I think he's going to be really good. I think he'll be really good for us. And is there an arbitration estimate? Usually you see an estimate. I don't see an estimate. It's not important. We'll find that out later. But excellent. But a great place to find a cheap arm or a cheap instant help is Rule 5 draft. You will always get them for the minimum because they get paid the minor league call up for the minimum, and that's just what it is this year. And then my number 3 setup man is Luarbert Arias. I believe he's a rookie. Yeah, straight up rookie. I had him as a top prospect, but I think he was eligible for the Rule 5, so I had to add him to the 40-man roster. And he turns out to be more than capable of being an excellent setup man. I don't know if I'll ever make him a closer or even a backup closer because he does lack this department here. For him to be in closer conversation or even a backup closer, movement would have had to been higher. Control, I can live with that not being as high, but movement, you can't because I can't afford you to give up a home run. Like if I'm bringing you in the 9th inning and we're up by just 1, I expect to be up by just 1 when you're done. And he just doesn't quite have that ability to do that. But he's got elite stuff, and he can still get better. Now, he's only 23, so this could change with the right coaching and the right staff. We have, like I said, we have excellent development staff. We spend a lot of money on development. This could change, which means that my view of him could change. But right now, he's not getting much higher than a setup man. If he could always be easily demoted to just being a regular middle reliever. So he's on the cusp. But his elite stuff is what's keeping him in the setup section right now. Like I said, I don't think he's ever, And the highest competition he's ever seen was high A. So I'm bringing him up basically from last year's low A up to high A. So it's quite a big jump. And he didn't really do all that well. 4.04 ERA. Had 5 saves. Whip was 1.28. You expect better considering how good he should have been. So that's the thing. Almost 2 homers per 9, which is what I want to avoid. Walked a lot as well, 5. Did strike out a ton at 15 per 9. But he's walking a lot considering his control. And this I will always expect to be high. From him, I think it will always be at a high level, unfortunately. Which is what keeps it from being a closer. Let's take a look at my middle relievers. Only 1 long relief this year. I wish I had an extra another long reliever, but just wasn't the way it was meant to be. Max Meyer is just kind of regressing, really, when it comes to potentially being a starter. So now really just a middle reliever with his stamina being so low. But middle reliever, Anthony Bender, 29 years old. Just a decent middle reliever. I mean, he's just kind of what you need. Not my first option. But if I need some quick relief, that's what he's here for. Didn't even play last year, so must have been injured. I think he was injured, so it's been a while. So he's coming off a completely off season due to his injury, so it'll be nice to see him come back healthy and playing well. AJ Puck is another middle reliever. Again, just I do like him. Did play 20 innings. Not a lot of. I know he's from Oakland. Small sample size from last year. I want to see this get a little lower, more like the Oakland way. Same thing with the home run ball, walk rate, and strikeout rate. We want to see that much higher. At 60 stuff, he should have better strikeout stuff or strikeout rate. The issue is going to be with him is going to be the walks and the home runs. He's just not going to be that good, and he's never going to be that good at it. He's 28 years old. He is what he is at this point. So you're going to get what you get. You're going to get the good, which is the strikeouts. You're going to get the bad, which is the walks and home runs. That's why he's a middle reliever and will never be much more than that. And usually if I'm bringing on a middle reliever, we're either down by a lot or we're up by a decent margin that it's not that big of a deal. Like he's not going to be in a high leverage situation. Then we have Max Meyer. This guy, at one point I thought he was going to be a starter, I believe. But his stamina has dropped down all the way to 30. It was 45 to start the spring training. After spring training, it dropped all the way down to 30. So he's far from being a starter now. And he's 25, so his development years are slowly disappearing. And he's pretty much almost maxed out developing. Aside from stuff and control, well, actually movement as well, he's pretty much there. I do like him, though. As a middle reliever, he'll never be much more than that because he doesn't have that elite stuff that I like. He has really good stuff or potential to have really good stuff. He's going to have good movement. And he's going to have below average control, which I don't mind as much in my relievers over my starters. But how did he do last year? Didn't even play last year, so must have been injured as well last year. So again, a couple of guys coming back from injuries that took him out for the entire season. But he's got potential to be good. That fastball and slider are elite combo there. So I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, he has a good year and he starts reaching what everyone expected when he came into the organization. And our last middle reliever is Tyler Ekberg. He is phenomenal. He has a chance to be a really good reliever, like an all-star level type of reliever, because he's good all across the board. He could still improve a little more, but he is an excellent middle reliever. Clearly my first option off the out of the bullpen for standard regular middle relief. Really, if we're in danger of giving up runs, that's the guy I want to put in because he's going to have really good stuff. He already has really good movement, and he has elite control, so he's not going to give away free bases. Really love him a lot, man. This is quite a steal for $720,000. This is a really good guy. I was amazed. Like, this is not a bad staff. How did he do last year? Now, that does not equal his. This does not compare to what I see here. What I see here and what this is just not the same. 8.71 ERA is absolutely garbage. But then again, that was in 10.1 innings, so it's an extremely small sample size. Yeah, his whip was 155. So he must have just been giving up. He must have had like a rough game because he's not giving up as many home runs, less than one. Walks, I want to see this drop a lot considering how good his control is. And his strikeout rate should be much higher. So he should definitely improve because all these here are not good compared to what I see here. So something doesn't match. He's either not this, or obviously with 10 innings played, you're not getting the best read out of him. But hopefully, we get a much better result out of him this year. And then least but not last, our long reliever, Andre Palante. Real solid. If I need him to be an emergency starter or a follower, he's capable of doing it. And he looks good. He looks good. All across the board, he looks good. With a little chance to still improve, he looks good. And you never know. He could become a starter next year if he keeps getting better. I really like him. I think we have even though he's my only one, I don't mind. They play for St. Louis, so we got him. We must have gotten him a trade. Yeah, we did. So the AI traded with him. Ooh, right around the trade deadline too, 7/28. So that means just a few days before the trade deadline. I wonder who they traded to acquire him. But yeah, I think it's a good trade. Looks good. Not terrible. Well, that was for them. For us, he was much better. 2.84 ERA. Half the sample size though, 25. Whip was a little up, but I'd like to see that drop. Home runs, that's a decent. That's a good number there, really. Walk rate, want to see that drop, and strikeout rate, would like to see that go up a little. But overall, solid. Excellent trade by the AI. And that's the staff. And I like the pitching staff. I think this is I think once we get healthy and we get rid of Brad Keller, and we put back in Jesus, and we put him back in the starting rotation. Oh, he's Peruvian. One of my ex-girlfriends is from Peru. I didn't know that. I wonder if she'll care about this or not. Probably not. But hopefully we get him back soon, and our rotation will look a lot better. And really, in reality, I think this team is pretty darn solid. I don't think it's a bad-looking team. There's plenty of good pitchers with potential still to improve. Like, all these guys can improve. A lot of these guys can still improve. This is not a bad staff. This is definitely 500 record type staff. Definitely, and I think a wild card staff. I don't think playoffs is unreasonable based off the staff. Once we look at the lineup, we'll know exactly for sure. But off the staff alone, just maybe not too big of a fan down here. But that's okay. The top three guys, get the Jesus back, we'll be fine. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll go over our lineup, and then we'll have some prospects to go, and that will be it. And then we can actually start playing some games.